Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back to the Virgo channel. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Laura. I'm going to do a general message for you got it, Virgo. Know that energy is fluid, so roles could be reversed. But mainly, a lot of times in this reading, it's not. We're tapping into the other person and we're tapping into the psychological and the emotional imbalances within your connection. And so when we're talking about soulmates, a lot of times we mirror these um, core beliefs, that these behaviorisms, that come from it. So you're a magnet of who and what comes into your life, right? That's the thing. We're all energy. So if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me on this channel and all my channels, you have to be open to getting a shadow reading, because the readings focus on the spiritual blocks, the shadows, and we always want to see how they're playing out in karmic themes. We also look and see what your person feels about you and what they're going to do, because we always want to know that information. However, the most important thing really is to understand why you are attracting who you're attracting. My allergies are really killing me, so if you see me with a tissue a lot, just know I'm a little stuffed up. Um, this weather got really cold down here. I don't know where you are. I hope that everyone's warm and enjoying their. I'm actually in Australia. It's really hot, I heard. Crazy, crazy. Anyway, we're going to dive deep within the reading today to see what both of your spiritual blocks are and to see how they're playing out within the connection and what the patterns are and what you can do to shape shift the energy, or whether it's even possible. Sometimes a person just isn't willing to do it, but understand, even if a person wants to stay in a low vibration, you always have the opportunity to shape shift your energy. And in that, it raises your consciousness, so which allows you to attract someone that's more in alignment with who you are today, not the wounds of your past. That's the issue. A lot of times we get stuck in these patterns due to trauma. And the reason why is because when we live in experiences that are traumatic, we form habits and behaviorisms that are in alignment with that experience, and that experience creates core beliefs. So until you really integrate the spiritual lesson, which is understanding how you contributed to the experience, a lot of times we have to do reframing exercises to really understand why you do what you do. But it's really simple to do those exercises, and then it's about transmuting the energy. A lot of people forget that. They say, I've already forgiven, I've already let go, but these experiences are still playing out. The reason why is because you did not transmute the negative energy. Karmic experiences create a lot of negative energy. And unless that energy is, really integrated, it kind of just festers and it becomes a spiritual block. It's felt as tension in the body, and it's seen as a narrow perception that's keeping you stuck in a place of limitation, a place of disempowerment. So it's important to understand how you are spiritually influencing your life, in order to heal your life. All right, want to enter winning a free reading with me? Like the video, subscribe to the channel, write the word of the video in your comment bar. The word of the video is, I'm going to pull it out here. I'm trying to look at the cards. Are really sticking together. It's perfectionism. I'm going to pull one more because I want to go in deep. All right, let's see. And we're just going to pull right from the middle. And that is magical realism. I feel like you intimidate someone. That's the first thing that comes to me. And, of course you would, because you're a Virgo. I just realized that. And it's like, so the thing is that you're detail oriented. and you really care. When you care, you really care. You pay attention to detail, not just with how you do your job and with maybe decorating and everything which you do, but also how you treat people. And so there, it almost seems like a fantasy. Magical realism is almost like seeing the fantasy in everyday life. So I'm feeling as if someone is watching you that you're connected to, that perceives you as like perfect, as like your life is perfect. Your life seems like a fantasy. Their life with you could be like a fantasy. So this is the energy. I feel like you're in separation from somebody that's almost like in fantasy land. And I believe yesterday that the word was fantasizing. So there's still a little bit of that energy. I have to take a drink. Between my allergy medicine and my Italian dinner, with a lot of sauce, I'm like so thirsty. All right. Let's see. Let's see what it was. Let's see what type of the. Let's do this a little bit different this time. Usually we look at what all these horrible things that the person does when they were in connection with you. This time we're going to look and see what type of connection this person like thinks that this connection is, or if the divine will tell us what type of connection that you're in, or what this person feels or thinks instead of what they did. We are alchemists. We transform fear into light and shadow into light. So I'm feeling like this is definitely a karmic connection. And I'm feeling as if this person isn't like either coming out of a dark night of the soul, or just not in a happy place. And not in a happy place because there's a sense that life is difficult. Life is difficult for this person because they never come from the spirit part of self. They're more in their ego, or they navigated their life more from their ego. So this could be someone that, that's connected to you that was in a really bad connection, and that connection ended, or it's about to end, or they've been, like I said, they could have ended a long time ago, but they haven't really release that energy, almost like they're still holding on to it, like what they did. And the reason why is because, as I said, everybody has to transmute the negative energy. So this person is like looking around and trying to find somebody that they admire, someone that they feel resonates more with who they are, how they could live their life. And as I said, this person's been watching you or knows who you are from just at one time being in your life, but I'm feeling like they're still watching you, that they have an idea of saying like, well, I feel like your life, I like your life. Me and you have a lot more in common than I thought, but you make life so easy, where this person's life is not easy. And it's because of, again, coming mainly from the ego. I see you working to create change. See, again, this person's watching you. And I'm proud of what you are accomplishing. I want to work on a mission with you. Did I tell you? Like, that's what I felt like. I felt like this person was watching you because they're like saying, well, you make life look so easy. Like, you make life like, maybe because you have a lot of friends. I feel like this person doesn't have any friends. Then I feel like your life is balanced. This person knows your life is balanced. This person's life is not balanced. I feel like they got their joy from, again, partying a lot, dating, but not really having very deep relationships, really living from the ego part of self. And now that's not happening. I feel like it's not happening because if they were in a connection with someone put a stop to that. And now their life, like I said, they're in a place of maybe they're paying a lot of child support and going to work, or just going to work and coming home. There's like no direction. This person doesn't seem grounded. There's no passion in their life. They don't want to live the way that they did. I'm seeing synchronicities like your name and 1111 and working out what they mean. This person was never a spiritual person. And so I think that what they're noticing is, again, synchronicity is like your name, like it said, but that would be like watching TV and everybody's name is your name, or they're going into places and noticing that the clerk's name is your name, or, someone says what they do for a living and it's what you do for a living. It's like if you're into spirituality and that's your thing, then they're seeing like third eyes everywhere. It's like that. It's like this person, if they even tried not to think about you, they are thinking about you, almost like their spirit is like almost has to look, like when you go past a car accident, you don't want to look, but you kind of like have to look. That's like this person, not saying that you're a car accident, but it's like they can't help it. It's like, and it's because it's entertaining to watch. It's like, wow, every day you're doing something different. Every day it's like, or whatever you post, I like what you post about, or like, again, your life would seem a lot more interesting. And it doesn't mean that it is. It's just where this person is. I'm trying to figure out this connection. I've never experienced anything like it before. And it's because they can't help it. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. This person didn't live from a real, like, let's do good. If they did good, it was because they were saying, like, who's watching? I wanted to be perceived as good. But they didn't really care about that. It's not like they ever even considered spirituality at all. I feel like, if anything, this person is very logical and analytical. And I feel like they didn't really want to like have a emotional connection. They really didn't want to have it because, again, no one wants to feel as if they don't have control over, how they feel, especially if a person has gotten hurt and loved before. But it's like they can't control it. It's like I said, I need to be strong in who I am before I can merge my energy with yours in the 3D. I'm afraid I can lose myself in this relationship. And it's because this person never had a relationship like this before. And I feel like it's either they never cared, again, it didn't have to go and be transparent, didn't have to form the emotional intimacy, always had trust issues in the connection, where in this connection, they feel that ESP connection, like all soulmates, can feel it. And this person, it's not like that. I feel like that it triggered them in the beginning, like your confidence, that you're a strong person. This person, like I said, is looking at your life and they're saying, I like your life. I can see how I would fit into your life. But they also know now, it seems like, they're looking back on all their relationships that are like horrible. And this is what they're digging themselves out of, or that's why they've been in a place of kind of limbo. Like I said, if they go to work, they come home, they're on autopilot. There's nothing that's fulfilling this person. And so they know that they would lose themselves in you. And then you have full control over them. So it's like, that's really what they're worried about. So like I said, this person is trying to figure out who they are, but through this connection, they're at least doing it. Can you imagine? They're not strong within themselves. This is a person that went from relationship to relationship to relationship. That's what they did. They never, and every relationship, they brought their baggage in. And every relationship, they collected karma. And now it's like I said, they're in a place where their life is just, they're not happy because they were living all that accumulated karma. So, and they might have lost all their money in a divorce, and maybe not. If they have kids, they can't see their kids. It's like major. If they had a business, they lost their business. If they owned a house, they lost their house. They had a lot of equity, now they don't. So it's, again, they're in a place of like not in a good place, like you said, and they're looking around at people, and they always had a connection with you. But remember, we don't know what they did to you. It's like we did this backwards tonight. Sometimes I feel like you're speaking to me in my head at and it triggers me because I wonder how much you can see into me. So like again, this person again knows like your standard, and every time they do something that's not in on your standard, they again see you in their face. They see you in their face, which it does trigger them because then it's like, oh, I don't know if I could do that. I feel like again, as we look to the left, the card down is insecurity. It's like it brings out their insecurity. It makes them feel again that they're flawed. And remember, that's what soul relationships are supposed to do. They're supposed to come into our life to teach us about ourselves. Really, that's how do you think the universe grows our soul? And so this person gets triggered because they know that they were on a low vibration. Even after their separation, their divorce, whatever happened, whatever tragic thing happened, that this person is just like in a place of limbo, they knew that they were still living not up to your standard. And they know that they have to. They know that they have to. So expectation is always nerve-wracking. We have a past life connection. Memories are surfacing either consciously or unconsciously. So again, this person and you, again, we already knew that they were a karmic mate. And that it's still, because again, the signs and synchronicity, ESP through the heart and mind. This situation is being caused by the both of us. Look at your own role in the situation to help us change it. So again, this is what this person feels. And I feel like it's because they're really insecure. And you know that they're insecure, but you're going to make them hold to a certain standard, like I said. And that's what triggers them. It bothers them because it's like they don't know if they can actually be at your standard. See, a lot of times people don't understand that if you're really confident and you're dealing with somebody like this that is not confident, you can't come at them at your regular vibration. This is why it's hard to be with someone that's on a lower vibration. This person's on a lower vibration. It's because they haven't created a new life for themselves after whatever happened in their life. It's like they're in limbo. They're in between worlds, as I said. So again, they're looking around. At least they're smart enough to look around and say, who do I feel would be good for me, would help me with my life? What is, again, but it's by your standard. So they like your life, but there's a reason why they don't have your life. It's because they didn't live by your standard. And if you're going to let someone in your life, they have to live by that standard. So this person almost like wants to come into your life, but it's almost like, I know that I don't deserve to be in the honor roll classroom, in the advanced classroom, because I'm really intermediate. But can't you just like let me in the class? Like almost like that. And that triggers them because you know already what they're going to do before they're going to do it. So almost like a parent, almost like a big sister and a brother. So if someone's giving you reading, this person might come up as like that they're younger than you, or they might be younger than you, but it's again, maturity wise, spiritually wise, this person is immature. And that's, like I said, it's like there's a sense of, you holding your standard to them is going to seem a little unfair to them, when really it's not. It's that what you're deserving of. I've never felt love like this before. The depth of it can be inspiring, but also overwhelming. So it's like what you see here, it's like it's again, it's past life. It's that is almost like the universe saying, telling this person, you know who this person is. It's time for you to step up into that twin flame. You've been many, many lifetimes now living, incarnating together, and you keep making the same mistakes from this past life. It's like, you know what you should do, but you have not done it. It's like, so again, this person doesn't feel like they have control over themselves and that they like your life. So it's almost like, I like this, but it's like I'm nervous about it. So it's again their own ego is what's stopping, is what's scaring this person. It's their feelings of inadequacy. Don't be tempted to disconnect from source. Our connection to source is the love and healing we require for reunion. So the disconnect from source is really that ESP connection is through heart and the deity part of self, which is the God part of self that recognizes, that spirit part of self, that perfect spirit that's inside your person, doesn't see all the inadequacies. This person sees all their inadequacies, though. And understand it's going to make you feel inadequate. And that's where your healing comes into play, because the universe wouldn't bring you someone like this into your life unless there was healing that needed to be done. You might just not be as aware that you might not just show yours, like how this person almost wears their pain like armor. You may not. So again, where spirit's saying, well, I have to get involved. So it's again source. That source is God, and that God is again unconditional love. And so the universe, which is God, is saying, don't disconnect from that energy. It's like, because if you do, then because you get mad or you get angry, it's going to push you further away. Because even with the spiritual blocks, unconditional love will always win. But a person needs to get more strong within themselves. We are one. Don't let fear get in the way of this truth. That's all that we keep pulling. It's like, so what we see here is that this person wants to come back, but it's like they're struggling. They're like, again, they're fearful. They know who you are. They know who you are, but they're afraid. And that's why, like, they're afraid, and they're like, well, the situation's being caused by both of us. You're not coming to me either, but I feel like the signs and synchronicities are telling me what I should do. Yeah, that's the universe. The universe is saying, hello, get on board. It's like you need to, like, step into a better version of yourself. It's about time. This is ridiculous at this point. The universe saying this is like 700 lifetimes you guys have incarnated, and you keep making the same mistake. It's like the universe is saying, I have to get involved. This person is they're handicapped. They're spiritually handicapped. And it's like, so the universe is, getting involved every which way it can to make this person figure it out. And that means that they have to surrender their ego. They're fearful. They're fearful of what might happen, what could happen, what you might say, what you did say. Now, we still haven't looked at what they did. Remember, it's like, because this person wouldn't be that nervous. We did this backwards today. We're going to see what they're going to do first before we're going to see what they actually did. Guilty conscience, that's what's going on. Yeah, the person, like I said, feels helpless because they feel vulnerable. And, they feel powerless. And that's really what it is. It's that how this person feels about themselves. So it's almost like they definitely want to hook you. Okay. They definitely want to hook you in. But when we're talking about this person, it's like, this is what they feel. They feel paralyzed because they're in the fear, right? Fight, flight, freeze. I'm nervous. It's like I'm frozen. There's a thing called stuck and stupid. It's like when a person's very fearful, they get stupid because that part of the brain doesn't work. So when a person has a spiritual block, what is it? Well, we see right here what it is. That the person, again, is overthinking the situation. They are nervous. I mean, really, they could probably just come back and apologize for whatever they did and just display new behavior. But no, they're not doing that. What they're doing is that they're obsessing. They have a lot of mind chatter, right? Nervous. And just the universe is trying to talk to them. They know what they should do. But it's, again, make them feel very vulnerable. So when a person wasn't allowed to be vulnerable, and that, like I said, this person has a problem with the transparency and emotionally intimacy, and like this connection is deep. They've never felt love like this before. It terrifies them. That's why they're stuck and stupid, you know? And also, like, I like you so much, I almost put you on a pedestal, and you expect me to stand to this level. I'm not going to be able to do it. Almost like that they can't achieve it where they can achieve it. Our inner guidance is clear, but our ego is resisting it. And this is what I keep saying, right? And that's the fear. It's that this person wants to come to you. Trust me. It's like they have feelings. It's like they know what type of connection. The universe is like, hello, it's about time. Come on. Like it's time that you learn this lesson. It's time that you do things differently. And this person's resisting it because, again, of what did happen, what could happen. Again, living from their past and bringing it into this connection. But the universe is like, no matter what you think, no matter what you do, I'm going to put this person right here. You're not going to have any control. You're not going to have any control over whether you have feelings for them and whether you can turn that energy on and off. You can't turn it on and off because guess what? This energy has been together for over 700 years, lifetimes, 700 lifetimes. That's a long time. It's like, so you can't just shut it off. You can't, no, it has a life of its own. That's the whole thing. You can't kill love. That's God. That's a universe. You can't kill the universe. How do you kill the universe? I'm going to kill you, stab. Like you can't kill it. You can't see it. You have no control over it. So again, that makes this person paralyzed because it's like, but paralyzed and I don't know what to say. So sometimes I don't say anything, or sometimes I feel like I say too much and then I judge what I say. Again, it makes this person feel all the little inadequacies that they feel about themselves, and it has nothing to do with you. You don't need to be doing anything. I feel as if there's going to be a gathering soon or a party or something that this person is going to try and bump into you at now, or they might just be watching you on social media, know where you hang out, but it's almost like I feel like there's going to be like a opportunity. And I also feel like this person has tried to figure out, like, to keep tabs on who you have been hanging around with. Like I said, now, like we see the friends and family. This person wants to really be prepared before they come to you. They know what they have to do. They want to fix this. And they really feel like they do have what it takes. This is where they are right now. What they're going to do. It's like this person is not is again coming out of being paralyzed and stalling. I feel like for a long time they kept holding back. But a lot of what you think was holding back is a lot of the fact that they were just paralyzed. Like I said, stuck and stupid. It's like not knowing what to do. but it's like they're free. Because they realize that they're like defenseless, really. That's really what it comes down to. They realize that they have no control. They have no control anymore over whether, they can turn it on or off. It's actually bothering them, and it's going to bother them because it's a spiritual connection. Now, we're also going to see why it bothers them, because we're going to just take a peek and see what they did. You're dealing with them. I feel like they were giving too much to other people and not giving to you, but giving too much to people. That could be like family or whatever. They were very dutiful, and that's just giving too much. And they were letting people control their energy. If anything, people were putting them into a place of submission. So again, they might have gotten out of a divorce or some separation or whatever it is, like the end of a business, the end of like some sort of who this person perceived that they are, right? It's their identity. So if they were married, the end of the marriage. If it's the business, the end of a business, and whatever it was. But unfortunately, I feel like it wasn't like they could just get out. You felt as if this person was giving too much to probably a karmic, too much to like a past person, and still wasn't done with it. Where that's not it. I feel like this person was actually being controlled to give too much. That person was saying, oh, no, you can't like move out yet. You still need to pay for X, Y, and Z. You still need to, again, just someone that kept putting like roadblocks in this person's way. And that was also paralyzing this person, because they were realizing that they really couldn't come to you and give you what you deserved. And so they weren't going to come to you half-assed. So I feel like they didn't come to you at all. I also feel like they weren't honest with saying, they might have said that they were like going through a divorce, but they didn't tell you everything, or said that the divorce was already there, the separation was there, but it really wasn't there. It was like they almost like jumped the gun. They told you it was because they didn't want to like wait to be with you. And I feel like what happened was that this person's life got really like full of drama. It's like they became consumed to what was going on. So like I said, I feel like karmic like was either taking their energy or whatever was happening to this person when they were with you. It's like their life was just about to completely fall apart, it looks like. And then you went into a separation where you didn't talk to this person at all, and they didn't say anything to you. They didn't tell you what happened. They just kind of fell off the face of the planet. And the reason why is because, again, they were consumed with what was happening in their life. And it was like this is here intense and overwhelming, and the need to there was a lot of drama. So again, like that's normally, like I said, what this person was in between. They were in limbo. And remember, they were in limbo and not in a good space of saying, well, this is the next direction I want to take. No, they were looking around, and they said, again, connected to you. And they said, wow, like your life has always been good from what I know it. It's like, this is why, which we knew. But their fear is, again, the expectations of what you would want, because, hey, this is a deep connection. I know that this is a deep connection. I know that you have a certain standard too. I don't know if I can stand up to that, especially while all this is going on. And I don't really want to tell you what's all going on, because this is embarrassing. So I'm not going to be fully transparent. I'm going to leave pieces of my story out. And I feel like it was like, I'll come back. And this person was not able to come back because the person that they either had to pay off, or they had to, again, still had karmic debt with that person, where they felt like they had to like pay off that before they actually came to you. They didn't think that the person that they were, had to pay off was going to keep putting roadblocks in their way. They didn't see, but then part of it was also them procrastinating, them being worried, them feeling, like I said, paralyzed, stuck and stupid. I don't know what to say. And they don't know what to say because they didn't want to share everything. They were embarrassed by it. And I feel like the situation got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And so it was almost like this person's greatest nightmare came true. It's like they could have like easily like cleared the situation up apart from them not saying anything. The person that was connected to them had a lot of ammunition. Where for a long time, I feel like, again, that you felt like this person was like thoughtless, mindless. That's what you felt. You felt like they were like reckless with the relationship, that they really didn't care about the relationship. That's the way that you made it them feel like that they didn't really care about it. So it wasn't that they didn't care about it, it's that they were too afraid to get close, because if you would have gotten close, you would have seen the mess. You would have seen the facade or whatever that they created, or they just weren't exposing to you. So they seemed like it's better to come across like I don't care that much about you than to start something or to really keep going with something, I should say, then keep going with it and then have it like fall apart. This person didn't know what to do, and they didn't know what to do because they don't feel comfortable speaking. They didn't want to be transparent. They didn't want to, and so they made a mess out of the situation. I'm going to pull 3 from this deck, and I don't know why the card doesn't belong there. Okay. This is temporary relief. So it's almost like for a long time, this person, I feel like, lived the illusion that things were just going to work out. Because again, this is like a soulmate relationship. They feel like the deep, intense relationship. But I also feel like this person, checked out, where they might drink too much or do too many pills or smoke weed or do something, again, for temporary relief. So again, a large part of the separation was because that this person just didn't know what to do. But we're also seeing that this person does not know how to deal with stress, and that they don't communicate. And that's something that if you go into a relationship with this person, you need to be aware that they need to work on that. And you would need to tell them that before you get into a relationship with them, because people are not going to change when you're in the relationship with them. But when they like you and they want to be in a relationship with you, they will be with you. And so it doesn't mean that you just say, no, not fix it. You can be their friend. You might even be able to date, but I wouldn't give them they have to be taught and understand. A person that was not allowed to be vulnerable and whose words we used against them several times doesn't know how to do that. I feel like this person was basing a lot of what should I tell you, because based on what has transpired in the past, who they dated in the past, that we're taught to lie. We're taught, again, when we feel like we're not safe. And so this person, what we know is, has a intimacy issue. It's a trust issue. And that's because, again, they were never really allowed to express. So they tend to keep things vague, and then they do what they want to do, is what I feel like. But this was not that. They might have done that with that karmic person. This was, I'm connected to this karmic, and I feel like I need to finish up here, and or whoever it was, somebody that was karmic. If it wasn't someone that they dated, it was still karmic people, because it taught this person a lesson. And it's something. This is what's about the person that's connecting to you really taking their power back. That this was somebody that was insecure, you know. The thought of them being with you, it's again, it just is like happiness. They know that they would be satisfied, very satisfied. You know, they don't want this to be a mischance, and they know that they would have regrets. So again, they don't want this to be a mischance. And that's like, it's almost like a lot of time has gone by. So again, I feel like this person is nervous and they're going to figure it out, but when they don't know how they're going to come into your life. That's what it looks like, because they're like, I don't want this to be a mischance, but I'm thinking that there's going to be a party, or there's going to be an outing, or there's going to be something. I'm going to keep tabs. I'm going to bump into you. I'm going to show up at that celebration. I'm going to figure out where I am, but they don't really know, you know, how it's going to look. Now we have to say, I wanted to pull a few more just from this deck to see what else we would have to look out for. If this is a soulmate twin flame connection, you know, a lot of times people will be in that type of connection because of the intense love. Like you really feel like you don't have control, like it's just meant to be. But you can't be blindsided. You have to realize that, again, we have spiritual blocks, and those spiritual blocks, a lot of times they're stubborn from childhood. And the only thing that really will heal them is obviously unconditional love. But your twin flame soulmate, you learn from each other. You learn how to be compassionate. You learn how to be vulnerable. You learn how to be, because you don't have any control over that love. It doesn't mean that you don't get mad. You get mad a lot of times, especially if you have to learn to forgive. So if you grow up in a family, like let's just say that was an alcoholic family, or there was parents were absentee, or whatever it was, that they didn't give you the love and the support, a lot of times you will get a person, your twin flame will depict some of the characteristics. So again, so if you had a parent that was emotionally unavailable, now you are attracted to people that are emotionally unavailable. So learning how to work with that energy, learning what has happened that made that person shut off, allows you to see experiences from the past a lot differently. So again, like I said, I just feel like this person is figuring out like what to do. But when I say this again, forgiveness, like, and it's always that twin flame soulmate connection that really needs to learn forgiveness. It's like, because they have severe blocks, and those blocks could be shame, guilt, victimization, just a spiritual block that is bound these two to a place of disempowerment. So trying to manifest certain things is a problem. So I feel like this person has a lot of masculine energy, and it doesn't mean that they're a man. It should just mean that, hey, they're very grounded. They hold a lot of those masculine traits, where you're a lot of feminine energy, and that's creative and it's intuitive. And like I said, this person just sees that your life looks easy, the magical realism, because you're always in that creative energy. You make it look fun, you make it look easy, where, you know, it's not. It's the fact that you're just more comfortable in that energy from doing that energy, where this person doesn't know, almost hasn't figured out who they are, their identity. They only say that because they don't like who they are. They don't like who they are because, again, of their past experiences. That's why they're looking around and to find somebody that's going to help them, that's going to, you know, enhance their life, and not enhance it with, oh, here's money. It's no, enhance their life, make it more, fill it up more with love. Because when you're in the creative energy, that's what it is. You are in the expression of love. by doing what you love, by doing the things that you're passionate about, by that connects you to all different people and situations. And it's, again, living in the flow, where this person is not living in the flow. They're living more from the ego mind, which is what I see, is what I know, is what I believe, just the facts. And life is bland. It's boring. And which means that they have to get their fun and entertainment and their passion from outside things. And if you don't really know who you are, then there's always like a little bit of emptiness in there. And so with the extra time, this person again wasted their time. And that's why they didn't have good karmic experiences. And that's why you found them in a place of, I don't want to say dark night of the soul, but just in a place of, no, like, I'm out of the dark night of the soul. That happened like 5 years ago. It's just that I'm living safe, but it's boring. It's bland. It's like I'm eating white bread and mayonnaise every day. There's nothing else. That's it. Just a baked potato with no butter, no anything on it. It's like, it's just bland. That's why, again, they want to look at their life. They don't want to fall back into the way that they were, but that's all that they know. But they also are afraid to live because, hey, that didn't get them good experiences. Where it's like, for a long time, this person always needed to be like the authority, the person that was like in charge. Where I feel like that's what got them into the problem. So now they don't trust themselves because they're the ones that was running the show. So those 3 cards is healing ancestral karma, learning forgiveness, which again, soulmate twin flames, but there's always a runner and a chaser. And, it's really passionate, but it's a lot of passion because you like want to rip that person's head off sometimes, because it's like, again, that fine line between love and hate. Well, this person can really like, you want to rip their head off, and Spirit says the reason why is because that person is going to awaken every single one of your spiritual blocks. Those blocks are what's blocking you from unconditional love, from abundance, from me. That you perceive you're separate from me and separate from unconditional love, unconditional, like from the universe, from everyone in the universe. You feel separate. There's no connection, and separate from your creator. And that energy that works through you, that works through the environment, that universal energy, like you feel separate from it because of the experiences, the traumatic experiences. And so the twin flame connection is all about that. It's about helping that person step into the best version of themselves, because they're not just triggering those wounds to come to the surface, but also to transmute them, to integrate the spiritual lesson, is to see it differently, to do things differently. Your twin helps you do that, but it's also through the passion that helps that kundalini pierce right through the chakras, but also, again, the act of doing, of becoming different. That's the whole point. So again, we can't do that if we're holding on to resentment, if we're holding on to anger, if we're holding on. That's why you get your twin flame. You get the twin flame because Spirit's saying, you're on your path. This person sees that you're on your path. Oh, you're doing something. I like what you're doing. I want to be a part of that. It's like there's a desire, there's a want. I want to protect you. I can see where I belong on this path. I can see how it would work out. So again, there's a desire, there's a calling. But really, it's to be able to learn the higher levels of consciousness, which is, I can be compassionate. I can be vulnerable. This person does not want to be vulnerable. Remember, they fought it a long time. Their ego is still like, I'm not really that good. It takes a long time for a person to surrender their ego. But Spirit always says, but the twin flame, they're always going to surrender, because that is unconditional love. They just can't help it. There's too much passion. There's too much of a desire. So we have to say, okay, so why did you attract this person into your life? What's the whole point? Aside from, your wounds, being pierced, needing to be, again, those blocks to be pierced, like what's during separation, we should say, because there's always a runner and a chaser. And right now, this person is still not, they're not 100% at your doorstep. Remember, they're still fighting their ego. But eventually, they're not going to be able to resist it. It's a little bit less, a little bit less, a little bit less every day, because you can't stay mad. The only thing that stays is what's true. Now, mad is an ego thing, so it's not going to stay. This person, like I said, is in separation, but during separation, there's a lot of healing that's going on. We know that this person is slowly surrendering their ego, and it's a very slow process. Well, what were you doing during separation? Because that's why the twin flame gets together and they go back, get together, go back. There's a runner, chaser. You together for a little time, there's separation. It's because the relationship requires a lot of balance. And until you integrate your personal spiritual blocks, which this person is even awakened while you were in separation, you need to heal those in order to be at the right vibration to even enter into a twin flame connection. The same thing for your person. That's why Spirit says, oh no, they're not ready yet. Like a chicken. They stuck the thermometer in and says, not ready yet. No, the ego is still very much there. We'll check back in another month or two. That's where Spirit saying, but says, well, you shouldn't be sitting there staring, waiting for this person. You shouldn't be looking at the clock. You have things to be doing too. You should be healing certain things. And you're like, well, what was I supposed to be integrating at this time? And Spirit says, outdoors and nature, there was a lack of grounding. There was a lack of connection to other people. And so even though you might have had good intuition, there was still not being consistent with your job. Not, again, when we're seeing outdoors and nature, we're talking about the root chakra, and Spirit saying, you didn't grow enough of yourself financially, or maybe you didn't have enough of other things in your life that was giving you the emotional fulfillment. So, again, not being as grounded and worried about this person, more up in your head, Spirit saying. So you needed to, again, get a better connection to your physical body, the physical world, and all physical elements of the physical world, Spirit said. Space, and that proves it, where Spirit says, you see that? That's an empty canvas. It's like you might have come from a home that was, it was either trauma or went to school all the time. There wasn't you didn't create enough of yourself, is what I'm trying to get at. Someone always influenced what you needed to do with your time. And so now the Spirit says there's time because you're not with this person. So that space you should be creating, because when there's not enough of you, new experiences, well, then that's still going to be an imbalance. You're going to give too much to that person. That's number one. Number two, you need to have other interests and other focal points, and it's still about utilizing the time to master your trait. There's a lot of things that you can do in that space, as though what Spirit's saying. It's empty right now. It's out at the end of an old life, and almost in limbo before a new life. But Spirit says, but you weren't healed, you weren't whole yet. Before you can get into that connection, you have to, become a little bit more whole within yourself. And you get whole within yourself by getting more grounded, creating a new life out of the life that you have now. And that's because you're in limbo and you don't want to bring certain experiences into the past and into the future rather. And the way that you do that is by creating a new life. you actually create new neurological pathways within your mind when you, again, do things differently. And Spirit saying, I need it for some of that. Because I don't need this person to come into your life, Spirit says, and for you to be automatically just being like, okay, here, I'll give you that. Okay, no, I need you to have other things in your life going on. So you could say, not tonight. I'm not going to be around unless you want to pick up dinner. I'll be home at around like 10:30. Or like again, where Spirit's saying like there needed to be more of you, where you would feel confident in saying, no, I'm not going to be around. I have other things going on in my life. Value me, appreciate me. No, I'm not always available for you, though I do care about you and about learning that what a codependent relationship like doesn't look like. You don't want it to look like that, to get strong within yourself. You get twin flame connections when you wind up a lot of times after many codependent relationships. And all codependent relationships aren't bad. It's like I was in a codependent relationship with somebody that was older than me for over 20 years, and that person nurtured me and did and really cared about me and loved me and helped me thrive. But it was codependent. This person acted like my parent almost, and that's because I didn't have parents. So I gravitated towards that, and he passed away just in September. My point in sharing that is that sometimes we get that energy to help us. We don't want that energy. We're not going to create ourselves. I was able to create myself with because my husband was there. Where otherwise codependent relationships that last a long time, they wind up toxic. They wind up in karmic contracts where you're not, you lose track of what your goals are, and you wind up in a place of where you're angry all the time. So Spirit's saying, I don't want you to do that. It's like, take the time to do other things. Again, you have resilience. So again, to build up resilience, every time that this person comes in and comes out, comes out of your life, you are building more emotional resilience. I feel like you didn't have the emotional support. If anything, you were really sensitive. Now you're like, whatever, like with this person, because you can still feel that love is still there too. You're like, yeah, you did all that and you say whatever and you show me, but I still know that you care. It's like, and that's because unconditional love is resilient. It's like, but you've become resilient because you're like, I know that you care. I know that you love me, but I don't need you to be here. I'm strong within myself. And Spirit said, I needed you to be a little bit more strong within yourself during this time. So again, like you were working on yourself. And protection. Again, strong within yourself. You don't need protection. You are the protection, Spirit says, because Spirit says, I live inside of you as a gift to Spirit. So only in the now do you get divine guidance. And you're able to, again, have protection because you avoid situations. The lack of groundingness showed that there was a lack of support. So Spirit said you had to give yourself that support. And if you didn't have support, then you would approach things like, well, always nervous. And Spirit's like, but you're coming across a lot weaker than you actually are. Like you think that. You're not that. You're actually very strong. And so Spirit said, I needed you to drop that illusion of needing to be protected, needing like that love, where really Spirit says to build up your own resilience, to be strong, to get better grounded to the earth, to your soul's purpose, to like you as a whole, and then to create your own life within that space. And to make and where it doesn't need to be like chaotic. I feel like you grew up in an environment that was chaotic. And in the fact that it was chaotic, you couldn't really think for yourself. You couldn't really say, well, let me figure out what I want to do. If it's chaotic, we're kind of living in a survival state. And if we're in a survival state, we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, but we're not really creative thinking, right? So Spirit said, you became yourself. You again, there was creative thinking. However, there's still too much of the past where again this energy you don't want to bring in. You don't want organized chaos coming in to your thing where it's like, yeah, it works, but there's always drama, there's always problems, there's always, no, you don't want that energy, because it gives, what gives it the illusion that relationships are hard is that relationships are codependent, relationships are organized chaos, because it's like one person like that's trying to, one person that usually is completely like emotionally available and does everything, and the other person that does everything financially and is checked out emotionally. There's always like some weird imbalance where sometimes, I mean, and that's that at least one person's getting the emotional needs, but who wants to be with a person that can't financially hold their own? It's the imbalance of it where Spirit says no, otherwise then you wound up oppressed in childhood, and that oppression is just because it was chaotic. It's like, if it's chaotic, you're playing every single role. You might be the fixer of the family because hey, it's crazy, and it's not the norm, so I have to play all these different roles, and in that you're not creating yourself. And Spirit says there's no mistakes. You always get gifts from living in the environment, no matter how tumultuous it was. However, it created a reality that you said, this is who I am. And Spirit says, that is not who you are. That's a perception of who you are. And that perception is, well, like I have blocks here, like blocks in abundance. And Spirit says, yes, that's why I'm bringing your twin flame in, because you have wounds due to the way that you were brought up. Someone oppressed you, the environment oppressed you, you weren't allowed to create yourself. You, again, the trauma from it made you not as grounded as you should be. It was too chaotic for that, You got resilience from living in that. There's a gift. So you also got a little bit more resilient because you had to, and trying to create yourself. And Spirit saying, just take the time to create in that space. It can create yourself more. And part of that is, again, to find your gifts, to utilize your gifts. You may have known some of them, but Spirit says in this space, you find out a little bit more who you are. And that allows you to see yourself differently. Spirit says, I still don't like the way that you're viewing yourself. You're not cooked yet either. This person has 2 months. I know you got about 2 months too. I keep you both busy until the time is right. The divine timing will bring you together, but you're not ready there yet. And Spirit says, this is why you're in separation. This person was weak. You're gonna have to forgive. You might not have a problem with that, especially if you grew up in an environment that, you had a parent that didn't speak, had a problem communicating. Spirit says, it's time to let that go. It's time to forgive. And you have the opportunity. This person does want to come and correct. It's just, you're going to have to give a little direction again, because they're not going to feel safe to communicate. Eventually, again, you're going to build the trust so that they can do it. I mean, and that's what twin flame connection is. It's about helping each other to be the best that you can be. The unconditional love makes us do what we normally wouldn't do, is what Spirit is saying. And then pull 2 more from this deck, which is establish and communicate. Like, that's what I was saying. Like, this is things to look out for. Again, I needing to establish and communicate. Otherwise, things get entangled. It winds up to become like where, you'll be seen as demanding, or the person feels stifled or limited. So it's about the way that you say it. Remember, establishing, you need to communicate your boundaries. So you might come across as someone that's very direct and this person is very insecure. So remember, Spirit is saying, please be careful for that, because again, these are some things that the person has wounds. You're going to trigger them. You already know that. That's what the twin flame connection does. And so Spirit's saying it's going to be about communicating and the style of communication. So kindness, kindness, kindness. Busting chains, release limiting beliefs that no longer serve you, which is what the twin flame connection does. The person obviously doesn't believe that they're deserving of love, had issues around it. They're stuck in their ego. You too, due to the environment that you grew up in. Spirit saying it's time to release those limiting beliefs. If they don't serve you, they're actually creating a block. And there are behaviorisms attached to those blocks that we need changed right now. That's why we brought the twin flame in. It's again, hopefully you'll step up into the best version of yourself and it won't turn into the most toxic relationship that you've ever been in. Really. I mean, but that's what this connection is. Ascending life. Let go of who you were. Again, whoever conditioned you to believe that you are. Like I said, sometimes we wear a pain like armor, where this person thinks that they're who they are, but they're not who they are. And that's not who you are, Spirit says either. It's again, you don't know who you are until you release those limiting beliefs and you let go of the personas of who you perceive that you were and embody the energy of unconditional love by doing what you love. This is how we ascend life, okay? That's what Spirit says, that this is the twin flame connection. We're going to let go, but the transmutation is that the twin flame is there and you're stepping into a better version of yourself. It's not that you're half of a person. It's that this person helps you unblock the other side, the parts of you that are blocked, and vice versa, through the act of unconditional love. The fact that you love this person unconditional, that you're not going to walk away, even though you might want to walk away. You're like, I really want to walk away. And Spirit says, yeah, but then you're just going to cut your nose off to spite your face, because this is a twin flame connection. It's to help you ascend life. Like you need a little extra help. This person needs help. Fearless heart. Have the courage to act from a place of love instead of fear. So again, to help you both be guided with your heart instead of the ego is what Spirit says. Hey, TM, sorry about that, didn't see you. Because you both have limited potential. Limited potential, again, to really become what you want to become, but to really transcend the limitations of your mind is what Spirit's saying. Spirit says too many beliefs of the past that you're not even aware of. So I need to, again, bring someone into your life that's going to hold up that mirror, that's going to trigger you, someone that you're not going to be able to walk away from that easy, because you're going to feel like you don't have any control. So much to the point that this person is running from you the whole time because they're so terrified of the relationship. They never felt anything like it before. They almost feel like, I'm going to lose myself in you. I'm going to lose myself. It's like, because I have a lot of passion for you, but that's always the way that it is. But the reason why it's like that is because Spirit says, oh, well, there's a lot of like, underneath that beautiful exterior of, oh, you're the best things in sliced bread, I'm so attracted to you, is a lot of pain. Is a lot of blocks, spiritual blocks. And no one volunteers to look at their pain. When life doesn't work, we then say, okay, I'm going to try and figure it out. But a lot of times we can't figure it out. We think that we have changed everything. We said, I don't know, I changed this, I changed that. But what we realized, we changed everything outside of us. And Spirit is saying, you got to change what's inside of you. And unfortunately, you're not really aware of some of those imprints that, happened in childhood. Those experiences that made that, imprint on your mind. So I have to, awaken them. It's clear you have to heal them. So like, but I'm going to make it a little easier with this person, you know? And so, like I said, when you heal and you're connected to this person and you're creating with this person, because you're already creating, this person wants to come in and help you with what you're doing, then it's fair saying you have limitless potential because you're transmuting those spiritual blocks and you're turning them into purpose through the passion. And Spirit says, that's what I needed you to do. Passion for life, to not just find it, but to learn what those higher consciousnesses are by actually embodying them. And that's what you do with your twin. You have to embody the consciousness of forgiveness. You may not want to do it. If you don't do it, the relationship won't work. It's like, so like we have a choice to surrender our ego. We have a choice to, again, let the other person be vulnerable, and whether we like what they have to say or not, so that they feel safe in being able to be transparent. We have to learn these spiritual lessons. And a lot of times we don't really know what it looks like, and we don't realize how hard, how harsh we come across. And Spirit's saying, well, this person's going to show you what it looks like. And that's why it's triggering, because you'll be like, oh, you're so sensitive, or you're this. But at the end of the day, when you love someone, it doesn't matter if it's too sensitive. You're going to surrender your ego and you're going to do it. And then Spirit says, and you know what? When you learn to talk to someone like that, then you can take that energy and put it in other areas of your life, and you'll probably get a better result, because Spirit's saying, I don't really like how harsh you come across sometimes. You don't realize how harsh you come across. And I realize that you're coming from a place of fear, because that's what happened. And they were wrong. However, I really don't like how angry you get. I really don't like, I want to show you what that looks like. And you're like, I'm getting this sensitive person here that did all this shit to me, and that got to be. And Spirit says, you see how your ego just went off? It's like, it's harder than you think. The twin flame connection is not an easy one, because it's going to require you to change, to step into the true version. And Spirit says, but there's limitless potential. That's the whole point of it, so that you can create, so that you can contribute to humanity by being the expression of love, by doing what you love, by connecting to people that you love. And we can't do that a lot of times if we're all blocked up from experiences of the past. And so Spirit leaves us with one more message, and that message is open to the universe. Discover your own worth and your abilities. Have the confidence in your value and your potential. Reclaim your inner power. Accept and love yourself completely. Be open to the divine light of the universe, and really that the universe is always supporting you. So what Spirit is just saying is, right now, this is where you guys are in separation. You're still working on yourselves to get to the energy of unconditional love. When this person surrenders their ego, and when you've created yourself a little bit more and get strong within yourself, stronger with the elements of that root chakra, again, better connection to the physical body. Don't ruminate. Don't ruminate. Just stay present, stay in the moment, because only in the now do you get divine guidance through gut, intuition, and a knowing. The higher self will move you. So no point in being in your mind and ruminating on what happened, what did happen. Let it go. It's again, and continue to work and become yourself and connect to other people. This way, when the person comes into your life, you're able to set boundaries. You're able to make sure that your cup is full all the way, and then you don't need anything from this person. It's like you'll have no expectation. It's like, because you don't need it. It's like when they see that, they'll be more willing to give to you. The issue is this person winds up getting into codependent relationships where people wind up telling them what to do, and then they feel unappreciative. So they don't really want to do. They've closed down their heart. So this person will want to give to you because they do have strong feelings for you, but they're too afraid of what they're looking like. But if you don't make them as comfortable, meaning I'm going to make you comfortable when I hang out with you. However, you're insecure and I'm not hanging out with you every day, morning, noon, and night. I'm not doing it. Not doing it because I have other things, which the person will be able to still feel that connection of unconditional love because it transcends time and space. So one day of not being together or a few days of not being together, that connection is still there. This person needs to learn what it looks like to not be codependent. Otherwise, they will lose themselves in you. They know that. They think like staying away. No, no, no. Is to learn to be in a relationship and actually form the relationship without losing themselves. So Spirit saying, you're the person that's teaching that, just so that you know, because that person does not know. The reason why they feel that you would be good for them is because they're like, oh, your life is so rich, you don't need me. And it's like they like what your life looks like. They want to be a part of it. So that's why Spirit's saying, you're the one that's going to be laying down the boundaries. It's like, and that has to be that you're that you learn to be kind and loving, but you also like don't lose yourself in the relationship is what Spirit's saying, and you'll find balance. And this person may get triggered in the beginning because again they're codependent and what they're used of is getting what they want. They're used of hanging out with someone every day and acting like they're married and then hating it. So like as soon as they meet the person, that's not what you're going to do. So it's going to feel uncomfortable because healing doesn't feel good, but Spirit says doesn't matter that it doesn't feel good for them. But the whole point of the twin flame relationship is it doesn't feel good, but I love you. I have unconditional love for you. Eventually they'll say, wow, this is a lot better than all my other relationships. I knew it. I was led to this. My spirit told me you were the one. And you know what? It worked out. Well, it worked out because you were standing in the best version of yourself and you taught this person, not through words, but through actions. And that's what Spirit's saying. And Spirit's saying, be open to the universe. Or your universe is unconditional love. Be open to it. But also understand the way that you depict it and the way that you can be even more open to it is by discovering your own worth. Love yourself. Find yourself during this time. Really reclaim your inner power because you lost it somewhere. Someone did that. One of your past relationships. Now is the time. And Spirit says the universe does the rest. It's like this is a divine connection. And that's what we know. Even though that this person they didn't really do anything horrible except for they weren't transparent. They didn't share what they were going through because they were embarrassed and they went ghost. And then that person knew and was like, well, I'm going to throw a few monkey wrenches in your situation so that it appears like something. But this person really didn't do anything. They have to step up into a better version of themselves. And so do you. And Spirit says that's what you're doing right now. And when you're both ready, I'll bring you together. All right. I'm going to leave that there, Virgo. You guys let me know how you resonated with this one. I want everything I want to be. I'm everything I want to be. Well, that's good. That's you're everything that you want to be. I think that we should be happy with who we are. However, there's always things about us that we need to improve and that we need to learn and we need to always grow. The moment that we don't continue to learn and grow is the moment that we die. So it's a balancing act. That's what it's about. All right, guys. Thanks again for sharing your energy with me, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.